Hey guys, Ranger Collector 62492 here. I am still, everything's still packed up, obviously. I have not moved yet. I am moving in the next couple of weeks though, so I'm very excited to get that out of the way. And once I have all my stuff up, I will show you guys a tour of the new place. But today I want to do a topic discussion on a very heated topic right now. So if you guys do not know, the Power Rangers movie has had a unfortunate decline in box office sales, both here domestically, internationally. You know, China got a release a couple of days ago, and unfortunately it has not made a lot of money. And a lot of us fans of the movie, and you know, just in general, you know, people who were hopeful of a success, we were lingering on China because China is a very important, a very pivotal part of having a decent box office when a movie does not do well in America. Usually a lot of movies that don't make a lot of money in America, they'll make the money in China. China usually has that, you know, pat down. So, and China usually is the one that makes the big bucks when it comes to movies like stuff like this. So, I got the news through a friend of mine saying that they made only like $1.3 million on the weekend, the first day or something like that in China. It was just like, that's not good. That is not good, because here in America it made more money on opening week, and that's mostly because, well, first off, Power Rangers is an American demographic. I know a lot of people are going to argue, oh, it's Super Sentai existed first. Guys, this is not Super Sentai. I try to look at Power Rangers as a completely different show away from Super Sentai, despite what Sentai purists will tell me. They're two separate shows, okay? You know, the reason why I say that is because there are two different story arcs going on. In some cases they're the same, like Shinkenger and, you know, Samurai and stuff. Those are basically the same story, but they're completely different in my eyes when it comes to, you know, franchises. I like Super Sentai. So far I've watched Zyuranger, Dairanger, Gokaiger. I want to, you know, pick up O-Ranger and Kaku Ranger and all that stuff when I can, but the movie has not done well. And I want to talk to you guys about a few things real quick, just because I know a lot of people are kind of using these as excuses as to why it's failed, or just like as a prediction as to why it's failing. I want to point out, first off, just because the movie got a Blu-ray release does not, like an early Blu-ray release does not mean it's flopped. Okay, that should not be the reason why a movie fails. I'm gonna give you guys an example of a movie that was released in February. I remember it was February because they were promoting it as a Valentine's movie or a romance movie, a sarcasm. That was Deadpool. So Deadpool got released in February. It was a huge success, and the movie was released 3 months later on Blu-ray in May. So that movie didn't do terrible, and it got a very quick release. So yeah, that's weird. But then you have a movie like Batman vs. Superman that actually got a very negative, like, reviews on all accounts from, you know, professional critics, you know, fans. It just bombed in its entirety. As a matter of fact, if you guys go watch the Nostalgia Critic, he talks about how bad did it fail. Well, it had a like 10% decrease in its weekend, or the first weekend, and it was 10% less than Batman and Robin back in 1997. Like, it did worse than Batman and Robin, which is considered one of the, you know, laughing, or one of the inside jokes of the Batman community. It's a horrible movie, but it's fun to watch. Like, it's just so terrible it's good. So let's go back to the Power Rangers movie. There's a few other reasons why I feel like the movie didn't do too well. First off, I think the marketing was horrible. Despite the fact that I saw, you know, TV spots on my TV every time I was watching a show, you know, the trailers were being released. At one point, the page tried to do this, like, hey, let's get this up to 100 million views and we'll release a new trailer. They were doing a live thing. I remember they were doing all that, but the marketing just, it didn't seem like it was doing very well. Like, I was really concerned about how the lack of marketing was. You know, there was no promotional stuff going on in the stores. Like, they had the, you know, display stands and stuff, but it just seems like they were putting it out of the way for other things. It wasn't gaining a lot of interest. The toys weren't selling. It just seemed like a lot of what a lot of people are complaining about and using as an excuse as to why the movie is not going to be good is because, well, the toys are not selling, blah, blah, blah. I always argued against that because, well, first off, you know, the kids aren't going to sit here and buy the toys until after they see a movie, alright? I mean, they might, who are you guys to say that someone didn't buy the toys beforehand? It has the Power Rangers name on it, but I felt like the movie, once it was out and kids got to see it, that they would buy the toys. Well, every time I go to Walmart now, there's barely any Power Rangers movie stuff, and that's saying a lot because at one point there used to be nothing but Power Rangers movie stuff. It was like cluttered, like toys were hanging off the hooks and falling off because they couldn't, you know, they were staying on there. They weren't selling. But then they started going, so that's what I predicted. The toys were selling as soon as the movie came out. So that was not a good reason to explain why the movie was going to fail. That's just ignorance. You know, just because you don't want the toys because they look horrible, that's not a reason to say the movie's going to fail. I will tell you why it did fail, though. I think it was the release. The time of the release was during a time where Beauty and the Beast and Logan came out. Those are two big conglomerate companies right there, Disney and Fox. Though Fox has had some major flops with the X-Men franchise, Logan did very well in the box office. But Beauty and the Beast, that is something that is like trying to take down a damn tank with a PT Cruiser, okay? You're not going to get away with it. It's going to fail big time. So the movie was released in March 27th, or 24th, I'm sorry, March 24th, so it was like a couple of months ago, and Beauty and the Beast was just dominating the box office. Logan was dominating too, but not as much as Beauty and the Beast. Not to mention, when they released it in China, they released it around the time that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, great movie by the way, I went to go see it with my friend Tyler. And obviously no one's going to go see Power Rangers over a Marvel film again, Disney. So that is a huge mistake on their part. I felt like it could have been released. You know what, I'm going to say this real quick. Power Rangers originally was going to be released in July of 2016. And do you know what came out in July of 2016? The horrible Ghostbusters movie that got really good critic reviews, but very bad reviews from the general audience. Like, it didn't do well with the general audience, and it didn't make a lot of money, but it got positive reviews through Rotten Tomatoes, and is a very good example of why I do not trust Rotten Tomatoes. I didn't think the movie was as bad as everybody made it out to be, but it was not a good movie by any means. It was horrible. It was Melissa McCarthy. You would expect her to be what you expected it to be. I always call Melissa McCarthy a ripoff of Chris Farley. She's a female Chris Farley, and she's not good at what she does. So I've never found her humor remotely entertaining, but that's another topic for another day. So they should have released Power Rangers around that time, at least when Power Rangers came out. It would have been a year ago. At the original time that they did it, I don't remember what else was playing around that time, but I feel like that, you know, I feel like Power Rangers would have been successful at that time. It was a very unfortunate thing for them to delay the movie, and I don't know why they delayed it. I don't know why they delayed the movie, because it seems like they had everything said and done. We didn't have any trailers or anything, but if someone can correct me, why they delayed it. Was it due to filming schedules? Is it due to the fact that there were some writers' issues or something like that? I don't know. But I felt like that original release date should have been when they put it out, because, well, you see what movies were out at that time. I remember what movies I went to go see with my friend. In July it was Ghostbusters. In June it was the Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows movie. May it was Civil War. I don't think Civil War at that time would have really bothered the success of Power Rangers after 2 months, because Civil War would have already gotten its money. But going up against something like Ninja Turtles and, you know, Ghostbusters, I feel like it would have been fairly successful. You see what I mean? Because most people have already seen Civil War, they want to see something new. There's a new superhero movie, Power Rangers, right there, so they go see it and they enjoy it, blah blah blah. And they would have paid for it, and the money would have been raking in. But because of movies like Beauty and the Beast and Logan already existing at the same time this movie was released, I feel like that's the reason why it did not do too well. So there's just few explanations as to why I feel like that it just didn't do as well. Now that's just on the business side. This is on the fandom side. A lot of people are going to come here and get upset with me. These are just my opinions, and you're entitled to, you know, debate my thoughts on this. But one of the reasons why I feel like the movie failed within the Power Ranger fandom was, first off, I'm a huge nostalgia geek. I love my 90s nostalgia. I have a page that I've just really successful. At this point, it's at 70,000, almost 80,000, you know, likes. It's called Growing Up in the 90s, and I created this 6 years ago, guys. And it was in, what, 2011? Yeah. So, I made this page, and it just went crazy over the span of the past 4 years. Like, it grew like crazy, and it's still growing. I tend to get about 3,000 likes a day. I'm not even joking. It surprises me. It cuts me off guard. I'll be like, damn, didn't just yesterday, didn't we just reach 70,000 likes? And here we are, almost at 80,000 again. So I'm very shocked by that. But I feel like the main reason why the movie has, you know, failed within the fandom is that I always hate this because I feel like I'm very biased of nostalgia, but it makes me a hypocrite when I say this. I feel like nostalgia has ruined any chances of Power Rangers being successful within the fan base, mostly because people are hung up on the original show. And that is their main point, like their main argument is that, oh, it's nothing like the original, so it already sucks. I really hate when that happens because, you know, I kind of expected, I knew it was going to happen. I knew people were going to be biased of the original show, which is good. I love the original show. I grew up with it. I would not be a fan right now if it wasn't for the show. But I'm a little bit more level-headed when it comes to things like this. I try not to let my nostalgia get in my way of enjoying something that deserves to be enjoyed. You know, if you hated the movie with a legit reason, I get it. But it just seems like everything is a solid comparison to the original. And that is the main basis for an excuse as to why they don't like it. And I can sit here and let a few things pass. Now, let me just explain. I did not like the Megazord design. I did not like Goldar. Alpha grew on me. I think the personality of Alpha kind of grew in with its look, and that's fine. Zordon, I get everybody calls it one of them push pin things that you push your face in, those metal, you know, pin toys, but it's just solid humor. Everybody's allowed to make fun of something. I get that. But the very few people who actually hated the movie from the look actually came to me and said, oh my god, the movie was amazing. You know, I still don't like the look of the movie, but I actually enjoyed it. And they said that, you know, judging a book by its cover, blah blah blah, that, you know, that whole shtick, everybody's like, oh, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. It's true. That is probably one of the truest things that you guys should realize, that you judge the look of the movie because you guys have a TV show that you're sitting here watching every day. I get that you guys want everything to look like the source material. That's understandable. So, here's my thing. I've always had this issue with nostalgia, mostly because I'm inside this particular demographic. I'm inside with the personality of the person who would, you know, dislike something because it doesn't look like the original thing. And it always happens. Here's a good example of why I call, or I get upset or get very annoyed with this particular person who will sit here and use nostalgia as an excuse to hate something. Here's another property, Star Wars. So if you guys remember back in 1999, we had a little show called, or a movie called Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Okay, let's explain this real quick. So everybody was very excited for this movie. It was supposed to be Star Wars' big comeback, and a lot of people were very upset with it. That's mostly because a lot of people said it's nothing like the Star Wars we grew up with 20 years ago. What the hell happened? Well, fast forward another 20 years on its almost near 40th anniversary, The Force Awakens comes out, directed by J.J. Abrams. It's very hyped up. And, you know, original characters are coming back, and, you know, all these people that said that they didn't like the Phantom Menace because of the fact that it was nothing like the original Star Wars. They watch The Force Awakens, you think everything's gonna be good, and then they come out and say, oh my god, it's too much like the original, they ripped it off, oh my god! Yeah. Solid hypocrisy right there. I really hate people like that. And I'm telling you guys right now, this is a majority of the fan base. These same people who said they hated The Force Awakens, hated, you know, The Phantom Menace because it was nothing like the original. But now, there's too much originality, or something coming from a continuation of a very popular franchise, and they're going apeshit. Like, it is just like the worst thing they've ever seen. They're saying they ripped off one of my favorite movies. It's too much like the original. I'm like, God, really? So here's where I come in with this. If they were to sit here and follow a blueprint, Venn diagram of the Power Rangers franchise and actually did exactly like the show, you tell me, you guys, would you sit here and complain like those people who complained about The Force Awakens? I want to know. Do you want it to be too much like the Power Rangers franchise, or do you want it to be something new in its entirety? I personally wanted something new. Something more realistic, something less cheesy, of course. Of course, I love the cheesiness. I love those type of things, but I wanted to see a more dark, not as dark as that bootleg one. That was pretty fucked up. Excuse my language, but when I saw Zack snorting cocaine off of a hooker, I was just like, okay, no. No. And it was, no. I cannot do that. That's too much. And there were people who actually enjoyed that. So that's saying a lot, because if we had to use that as an excuse, why couldn't it be like this? I said, because I don't think anybody wants to have Power Rangers as an R-rated movie. PG-13 was pushing it, but they did very well by hiding some things. There's a lot of controversy going over one scene specifically, a campfire scene, but those people. I honestly think that, you know, some people are a little misguided. They're allowed to have their opinions, but I am also here kind of trying to analyze the situation as someone who, like, overanalyzes a lot of things. I feel like a lot of people are just using bias to originality, stuff that they grew up with, as an excuse to hate. And that is one of the reasons why I feel like, you know, it didn't do too well. There's, like I said, those many reasons is what I explained as to why I feel like it didn't do very well. You know, the fact that, you know, people were the fact that people were bootlegging the movie, first off, and they were bragging, mind you, about bootlegging the movie on public groups and forums on the Power Ranger traders, buyers, and sellers. Shout out to you guys. You guys go check that group out. It's good. You love it. Just people who are bragging about bootlegging, saying, oh hey, I just got done watching the Power Rangers movie for free! So I was like, okay, so did I. I went to go to see it in the movie theater, got a free ticket, but I had to pay for the other two that I took my friends with me, and they said, oh no, I watched it on the computer at my house because I couldn't afford it. I was just like, why? Like, why do you guys want to sit here and watch it fail so badly that you'll bootleg and kind of, it's literally theft right there. You guys could call me a square, but those are the reasons why this movie didn't make a lot of money. A lot of people were bootlegging, and this wasn't just one person. There were tons of people. This guy was using it as an excuse as to why he bootlegged, was because, well, I gotta feed my children. I gotta do this. I gotta pay the bills. It's a $7 movie ticket. At least for me, I paid $7 for my movie tickets on matinee. So before 3:30, it's $7. Afterwards, it's like $10.30. But that's still affordable, guys. You don't have to sit here and, you know, steal from other people. You know, this company worked really hard to make a movie, and you guys are sitting here taking money from them by bootlegging it. I mean, really, that's horrible. So, I mean, those of us who are real fans will go into a movie theater and enjoy it on the big screen, not on a tiny computer with the shittiest quality possible. That's another reason I wanted to talk about. But, you know, the fact that people are, you know, bootlegging, that's, like I said, other things have to be factored in. The fact that the fan base is a little biased of the original, which is fine. You guys can like the original. I just feel like it's clouding a lot of people's judgment towards, you know, some things. Then you have the people who were overly critical of it beforehand. They already have their set mind to it. They already said that it looked horrible. And you know, some people's selfish pride won't let it go. But you know, I've run into people who have yelled at me for having a positive opinion about the movie. Some people said I wasn't a true fan. I had people commenting under my videos telling me because I supported the movie and enjoyed the movie that I wasn't a real fan. Despite the fact that my whole room was covered in thousands of dollars worth of Power Ranger stuff. That was their opinion. They said I was not a true fan just because I enjoyed the movie. I was just like, really? That you're gonna go there? Wow, that's bad. Way to go. But yeah, the other things I talked about, the fact it was released during a bad timing, you know, the marketing, a lot of stuff. This stuff is very unfortunate, and I'm very upset and very disappointed that we're probably not going to get a sequel. And a lot of people are probably going to share a link with me down below about their plans to do 5 other movies, but you guys need to realize something. That article was released a few weeks before the Power Rangers movie even came out in theaters back in March. So it's definitely questionable as to whether or not maybe Lionsgate would risk the idea of doing a sequel, even though I personally think if they were to do, since they've set up an origin story and, you know, main story arc with the characters, I feel like the fact that it's going to be based on one of the most popular episode arcs of Green with Evil series, I think it'll do very successful. You know, and that's what's really kind of tossing and turning a lot of people, is that, you know, if they were to release it, they could take that risk. They could really jump in there, actually make a really good movie. It could be all action if it had to be, because that's what people wanted. That they could do something really cool. You know, I've always wanted to see the Green with Evil franchise put on the big screen in a very more serious way, because let's be honest, if you think about the Green Ranger and what he's having to deal with, you know, the brainwashing and having to be put up against other Rangers and him trying to kill them and stuff, I feel like the fact that Rita, how dark and very mysterious she was with her, you know, her powers and stuff, how she was using gold and ripping people's teeth out. Can you guys imagine what the Green Ranger could do? Seriously, can you guys imagine what that motherfucker can do? I want to see him impale people with the Sword of Darkness. That would be interesting. So, I've always had this really silly dream of seeing a movie franchise, a darker movie franchise, based on the Power Rangers. And here we are, we have where it's not too light and not too dark, and it's kind of trying to keep that Power Rangers, the feeling of Power Rangers, I guess, or would I say the personality of Power Rangers. It's not too cheesy. It has a little bit of cheese, but it definitely has its serious moments, and I would love to see that in one of the most popular episode arcs, which is the Green with Evil series. So hopefully Lionsgate takes this risk. I wouldn't say they would, because of the fact that the first movie didn't do too well. It really makes me think, and it really makes me worry that, you know, Power Rangers may never get another chance, guys. We may be stuck with television. And to be honest with you, if you guys look at now what's going on, Ninja Steel is not doing really well. You look at the the viewings and stuff. I've actually stopped watching Ninja Steel. I cannot get into it. I don't know why. That's just me. I enjoyed Dino Charge more. I enjoyed Dino Supercharge more. Hell, I even enjoyed Mega Force more. But Ninja Steel is kind of like dropping me out, and I haven't watched an episode. I've only watched the first 3 episodes, and I just stopped. So there's no telling. Maybe one day Power Rangers may lose its charm after 25 years. You guys may never know what will happen. They could cancel it after Super Ninja Steel. I don't want to say that they will, but it's not doing too well in the ratings right now, according to a few people. So let's get our hopes up, guys. To quote the movie's tagline, "Together we are more." Let's actually try to be a little bit more positive about some of this stuff. But I know a lot of people are a little threatened or a little offended at the Power Rangers movie, which is really ridiculous in a very petty way. I've had people who have commented saying a lot of things to me, and it's just, I feel like wanting a movie to fail just because you don't like it You don't have to go watch it. That's the thing. Act like it don't exist. Let other people who enjoy it though. So we'll get more into this at some point. Maybe I'll have one of my friends jump in, but I just really think that it's just very unfortunate because it is a well-deserved, like it deserves to have its dues. This movie, I really think it deserves to have a sequel. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna go. Thanks for watching. Sorry for the long video. I just wanted to give my explanation and talk about my thoughts on this topic. But I'm gonna go. Thanks for watching. Talk to you guys later.